Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Today we are gonna solve a task from subject UED101 Mathematical Thinking. The task given state that two friends, Halim and Ina, are antique money collectors. Solve the following problem based on their antique collection. Both Halim and Ina has the same number of antique RM notes. Halim had a number of RM5 notes and 64 RM1 notes. This note had a mass of 9.45 grams. Ina had a number of RM5 notes and 104 RM1 notes. Furthermore, let's continue with the questions. There are two parts in this question, which is part A and part B. For the question in part A, who has more money in notes and by how much? Then for the question in part B, given that each RM5 note is 0.024 gram more heavier than RM1 note, what is the mass of Ina's notes in gram?
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Nur Akbar, and today I will be guiding you through the solution for part A of this question. Referring to the questions given, let's assume that H is equals to Halim, I is equals to Ina, and T is equals to the total number. We could assume that H5 is the number of 5 ringgit notes and H1 is the number of 1 ringgit notes held by Halim. We could also assume that I5 is the number of 5 ringgit notes and I1 is the number of 1 ringgit notes owned by Ina. Now, let's start with our first step to solve this question. We know that Halim and Ina has the same number of antique ringgit notes. Therefore, we could say that H5 plus H1 equals to I5 plus I1. From the information given, Halim has 64 RM1 notes and Ina has 104 RM1 notes. Substituting these values into the question, H5 plus 64 equals to I5 plus 104. Next, we rearrange the equation to isolate H5. H5 equals to I5 plus 40. This shows that Halim has 40 more RM5 notes than Ina. Step 2. Calculating their total money. Now, we find their total amount of money. For Halim, TH equals to 5H5 plus H1. For Ina, TI equals to 5I5 plus I1. To compare their money, we take the difference. TH minus TI equals to 5 multiplied with H5 minus I5 plus H1 minus I1. We already know that H5 minus I5 is 40 and H1 minus I1 is 64 minus 104 equals to negative 40. Substituting this in, TH minus TI equals to 5 multiplied 40 minus 40. So 200 minus 40 equals to 160. Therefore, Halim has RM 160 more than Ina.
Now, let's continue with part B. The question states that given that each 5 ringgit note is 0.024 gram more heavier than a 1 ringgit note, what is the mass of Ina's note in grams? M5 is equal to the mass of 5 ringgit notes and M1 is equal to the mass of 1 ringgit notes. Now, let's calculate the mass of Halim's money. First and foremost, to calculate the mass of Halim's money, we could conclude by using total mass of 5 ringgit notes, which is Halim's 5 ringgit notes, multiplied by the mass of 5 ringgit notes plus the total mass of 1 ringgit notes, which is equivalent to Halim's 1 ringgit notes multiplied with the mass of 1 ringgit notes. In addition, we also know that this note has a mass of 9.45 gram. Secondly, we could substitute the information from part A, which is h5 equal to I5 plus 40 into the equation. Therefore, our equation will be 9.45 equal to h5, which is I5 plus 40 multiplied with M5, which is M1 plus 0.024 plus 64 M1. After some multiplication, we will get 9.45 equal to I5 multiplied with M5 plus 0.024 M1 plus 40 M1 plus 0.96 plus 64 M1. We could balance it out by moving the 0.96 to the left hand side. Therefore, we will get 9.45 minus 0.96 equal to I5 multiplied with M1 plus 0.024 I5 plus 104 of M1. And our result would be 8.49 gram equal to I5 multiply with M1 plus 0.024 I5 plus 104 of M1. This would be our first equation to solve this part of the question.
Mass of Ina's money equal to I5 times M5 plus I1 times M1. Substitute the value of I1 so we can get I5 M5 plus 104 M1. After that, substitute the value of M5 equals to I5 times M1 plus 0.024 plus 104 M1. We can get I5 M1 plus 0.024 I5 plus 104 M1. This is our second equation.
As for the comparison, we could say that the first equation is equal to the second equation. Therefore, I5 times M1 plus 0.024 I5 plus 104 of M1 is equal to I5 times M1 plus 0.024 I5 plus 104 of M1. Therefore, we know that Ina's mass is 8.49 gram.